Okay, so somebody gave me the idea that I should probably at least give a little preview of what I think are good layouts for your keybinds. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I guess I'll include this too. If you don't know how to make a keybind, you just go to Options and then Key Mapping. You'll have a shortcut key and an alternate key. Shortcut key is the main one. You just click a button or mouse. Well, it's the same thing, never mind. You click like a letter, a number, a mouse button, whatever to put change it. You can't have more than one on the same key, and you can do neat things like put numbers, like selecting them and branding people with numbers and stuff. Like I actually do that. I use Shift for that stuff. So I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. But I'm gonna go ahead and be right back and get some layout fixed out. Okay, so I just slotted the full DPS line. I didn't include extra stigmas like Soul Crush or Soul Lock and stuff, but uh, generally there's not too much variation you want to have here. So my thinking is that anything with a short cooldown, I want on a number that's easy for me to reach because I'm going to be clicking it a lot. So 1, 2, and 3 for me are the basic Chanter skills you get. And I think there's an option that lets you, that's already enabled by default, where chains for skills already appear when you're attacking and using them, so that's not an issue. When it comes to Hallowed Strike though, I actually click Infernal Blaze because I consider that a situational skill, so I only use it on occasion. It's nice for some things like when people are running away and stuff, but other than that, let's move on and look at some of the letters. So for E, I actually put down the knockdown stigma, and R and F I put the two knockdown procs, so you can just go ahead and just bang them off all in succession. Let me find a mob. Let's knock down a flower, because that makes total sense, so I have an attack scroll. Alright, so it's just like E, R, F. It's very, very convenient. That's the kind of idea you want to have. You don't have to use those keys, but generally those three stigma or well, those three skills are good to have close because you can use one to cause the others. So same goes with the parrying skills. Like with perfect parry, you can always use our parrying skills. So I put them on C and V. So the same applies for them. Um, Other things, I put the instant heal on Q because that's easy to reach, and healing is really important in PvP, as you might know. I put the bind on T because it's a skill, I guess, that you could bind. I don't have it bound personally, but putting it on T is not too bad because T is not horribly far away to reach, and when you push it, you just have to push it once every 45 seconds, so it's not too big of a deal. Other than that, I just have like a couple extra DPS skills on 4 and 5. And I actually put Blessing of Wind on A1 because I have no idea like where else I would put it. This is a skill that I would probably just end up using either like a alt plus number or a click or whatever because it's a 3-minute cooldown, so it's something you'd pop um, before like stuff happens. Oh, and forts are going vulnerable, but whatever. Alright, so that's just my interpretation of these skills. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the support line. Okay, a quick note before I start talking about the support line stuff. Um, Generally, you want to use keybinds around WASD if you play using those keys to move because, well, your hand's going to be there all the time. So I thought I'd just mention that real quick, even though it seems like it's something that would be pretty obvious, but I'm sure it is. Oh, another thing. You might notice that I don't keep weave on my hotbars at all. That's because I have my Z button key binded to weaving, and my X button's actually weapon drawn and undrawn. Which, not that big of a deal, but I like to spam it back and forth for the hell of it. Whoa. Okay, so, support line. This one's a little weird to me because there are quite a few skills that have a 3-minute or longer cooldown, and when it comes to those skills, I don't like to keep them on letter key binds because, well, I want to be able to use the letters for things that I can press fairly often, so anything with like a 3-minute etc cooldown I'll put on like an alt plus key because I'll push it once and then not have to worry about it for a while. It's like alt 1 alt 2. That's not too awkward I think for pushing. You just gotta bend your, well, at least for me, bend your thumb in and then use your fourth finger to push them both. That's the way I do it. There are probably a ton of different ways, but what else was I gonna say? Oh, magic recovery, 5 minute cooldown. That's like a pot, so I put it where I would put pots and stuff. That's my reasoning again. Q and E heals because they're easy to access. Q healing burst because it's got that awesome animation, and recovery spell because it's recovery spell. Protective ward you could probably put in a letter too, but I like to keep it on an alt key. Probably one of the things you should keep on a key though, because that's a skill you want to pop right away. I'm just so used to going alt whatever to pop it that it's a habit. And then RNF, just the usual word of inspiration protection. I like having those close to each other because they have the same cooldown. I actually kept the knockdown procs in C and V because honestly, there's not really that much else you could replace these with. Like you put, I don't know, protective ward and I don't know, some other skill. But those are good to always have on a keybind because when you knock someone down, you always want to have the quick reaction and just push two keys and hit them with the procs. It's a pretty big deal. I actually put Word of Revival on T here just because I can. What else? Greater Healing Pot and Remove Shock. Those are key or mouse button bound. I already talked about those before, and that's pretty much it for the support line. So I'm just going to cut back as in a sec and summarize everything up. Alright, before I give a summary, I'm just going to say that you'll notice in the previous two demonstrations of keybind layouts that I did not put every skill or every stigma that you would normally have in those setups because I didn't really want to go through the hassle of making full hotbars, and on top of that, whoa, I should be at that siege. Oh well. And on top of that, what was I gonna say? Oh, that's right. I just wanted to emphasize like the various skills that you probably should consider using on keybinds because especially any skills that are associated with each other like the knockdown and the knockdown procs, you want those on keys where you can generally click or push in succession really quickly. Like my regular is actually QCV, which looks a little weird, but if you think about it, I use my fourth finger on Q and then my thumb on C and V right after. So it's like it depends on what you want to do. It's just that's a very good thing to keep in mind, having your keys really close to each other for things that either have like similar cooldowns or will be really essential to you, or they can be used in succession. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else I'd like to say? Mm, not really. Okay, we'll see how that goes. All right, that's the second part of the keybind stuff with actual examples. So, yep, until next time.